Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Tuesday, May 5th. Thank you for joining us today and every day. Annette, thank you for joining me for this month of living a heart-led life. Yesterday, we looked at what fear-led living sounds like. And as promised, today we're going to talk about what heart-led living sounds like. Annette, would you like to start us off?
I would. So think about when you say, let me pause for a moment. When someone either invites you to do something or asks a favor of you, instead of going into that reactive mode where you just, like yesterday, we talked about, you got to fix it right now. Your response, remember, reaction is we not even thinking about it. But then we take a pause and then we respond. Your response is something like, let me pause for a moment. Let me think about that. Could I get back to you later on and let you know? That sounds like someone who's willing to go inside, check up what's going on. Are you going to be too busy? Is this going to bring on anxiety? Do you have too much on your plate already? You're willing to think about that. You're not just saying flat out no, not starting with no. You're taking time to go inside to see if this is something that you can do, that you want to do. And it feels and it sounds heart-led as opposed to the fear-led that we talked about yesterday.
Heart-led living might also sound like what feels true here. You can see from these first two that there's a lot of reflection going on. Let me pause for a moment. Let me pause to go within. Let me reflect on that. And then as we're reflecting, we may ask ourselves, what feels true here?
This is important when you think about how our world has evolved where everyone needs or seems to need an instant answer. You get a text. And how many people have we talked with, Ada? I get so many texts and then I have to respond right away. And we will say, you don't really have to respond right away. Now, if you're a business owner or if someone is waiting for your response in order for them to take the next step and you've agreed that you will respond, yes, you do have to respond right away. That's the only polite thing to do. But as a rule, not everything has to be so instant.
Though I would say, even if you do own a business, you may need to tell the other person, let me think about that, and I'll get back to you tomorrow.
By doing that, you're at least acknowledging that you received it, but you're not saying that you have the answer right now. And maybe you're in the middle of having dinner with your family, and it's not the time for a text. So you could say, got your text. Let me think about it. I'll tell you tomorrow. That's where we need to go. I don't know where the world changed, where everything has to be instant. But I'm here to say when you can break the habit of instant, it's not ghosting other people. So there's a difference. We're not ghosting somebody, but we're taking time to think about it. We're responding with intention when it's right for us, not late at night when we're trying to have a relaxing time with our family and then we got to respond to these texts. None of that is really the way to live a heart-led life because it's so reactive. Somebody else then is managing your evening or managing your weekend, and you must manage your weekend. You must manage your evening.
It goes back to what you always say. If we want to live a heart-led life, we need to slow down.
Slowly, step by step. That's what I even repeat to myself. If we thought about all we had to do in a day, we're going to get a little anxious. But if we just say, I'm going to do this thing, and then I'm going to do the next thing, and I'll get done what I get done. Remember, wasn't it a few weeks ago I was saying about the list that I make on the weekends and how I had felt a little anxiety? That weekend, I forgot what I normally do. And what I normally do is I try to just say, I can do what I can do. I can only do what I can do. And that reminder, just saying it on the podcast, helped me because I thought, that's my old way of doing things. The way I do things now is I do what I can when I can do it. And if you're working hard every day and you're being responsible and you're taking time to rest and taking time to exercise and eat well, maybe you're not going to be able to get everything done that you think you should get done. But the should is in quotes. We only can do what we can do. Mm-hmm. And it seems that our culture and society has expected us to just be going, doing, answering right away, instant response. That's not healthy.
It really isn't. And actually, heart-led living could sound like and calls for being thoughtful, grounded, and being very intentional, which is what I'm hearing you say. So you have this list, but you do need to remind yourself, I can only get done what I can get done. You can only do the best you can. And what else can you do?
Yeah, I really slipped up. I mean, I found myself I didn't really realize that I was getting back into that mode until I heard myself say it on the podcast. And then I thought, wait, that isn't how I want to show up. I don't want to show up that this list has all this power over me on my weekends. And that helped me, just saying it on the podcast, realizing, no, I don't want to live like that anymore. I used to live like that, haven't lived like that for a while, and I don't want to go back to living like that.
Well, especially because you made the list.
When we're a slave to our to-do list, it's a never-ending list.
It really can be never-ending, and that's where we need to take a step back and think about it. Be thoughtful, grounded, and ask yourself, what do I really need this weekend? Do I really need to get all these to-dos done? Or is there a better way to spend my weekend that is better for me? We don't really know that when we are being fear-led. We just see the to-do list and say, I got to do all this stuff.
Right, exactly. And I've lived like that, and I know that. And it is very fear-based because it doesn't feel peaceful at all.
No, it's awful. I can't stand feeling that way. When I feel like I'm being just drowned in stuff to do, and maybe it's not what I actually want to be doing. I know there are some things that you got to clean, you got to pay your bills, all that kind of stuff. But then the way of doing all of that can be fear-led or heart-led. And when I just put it all on a plate and say, you got to do it all right here, right now, it had to be done yesterday. Oh, that's too much. It's too much. And I've had to learn to pace things out, to have a better schedule, and to look at it in a way, how can I do this from a heart-led space?
And how can you support yourself?
Totally. Because when I am stressed and overwhelmed, I'm not enjoying my days. And the people around me won't be enjoying them either because they can all tell Ada's overwhelmed, she's complaining a lot, and she has way too much stuff to do.
So maybe that last thought that we want to leave everyone with for today is that when we're living from this heart-led space inside of us, we will ask ourselves, what's the kindest response right now? What's the honest response right now? And remember, for something to be loving, it has to be loving for everyone. So when we're asking ourselves, what's the kindest response? It has to be kind to you too. Yes, it has to be kind to others. But remember, yesterday we talked about, well, you have to fix it right now. You have to help right now. But we're saying, no, pause and come from the heart-led space and say, what's the kindest response? Taking everyone into consideration, including you. What's the honest response? Taking everyone into consideration, including you.
Keeping in mind what heart-led living sounds like, today's intention is a reflection question. How often do I live led by fear? And how often do I live led by my heart? How often do I live led by fear? And how often do I live led by my heart? Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.